welcome back to the Cost to Rise Talk Show. I am your host, Tammara J, you guys. So, you guys, we're in a new season. This is episode 2 of our new season, but I want to welcome you back again to the Cost to Rise Talk Show, where we don't just talk about the call, we count the real cost of what it takes to walk in it. So, you guys, this is season 5, Grace in Motion, and it's a new season for us in purpose, leadership, and transformation. So today's episode is called "From Survivor to Leader: The True Call of Duty." You guys, y'all, we have an issue coming on, so y'all give me a minute because it's gonna take me a minute to rev up. But anyway, I want to introduce my guest today. Well, I'm gonna let her introduce herself because y'all know we don't introduce nobody over here because she knows herself way better than I do. So, Miss Terrell, would you introduce yourself to the Cost to Rise fam?
Oh, yes. So first of all, I want to thank you so much, Tammara, for inviting me on your talk show. It's really been a privilege and honor to be able to do this and to share with your audience with regard to our topic today, Survivor to Leader, the True Call of Duty. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 2 adult children. I've been married 35 years already. I am a speaker, wellness speaker, health lifestyle coach, a mentor. What else do? I love to swim. I love to walk. I love to travel. I just love people in terms of really helping them get to the next level with regard to their health, especially our women, because I feel when I help them, it's a generational ripple effect with regard to that. So that's a little bit about me right now, and I look forward to having this chat with you.
All right, you guys. Like I said, today's episode is called "The True Calling." The true call of duty. So she's a survivor of lupus, and so she, this call led her to the powerful woman that she is today. It helped her understand what it is to be a leader, and I truly believe that a leader, it has to start in your heart. And so tell us how the call of health and wellness for women through what you went through in your health issues, how it led you to be here now today. What do also, wait a minute, y'all know we asked our guests, what would she tell her 15-year-old self knowing all that she knows now? So because when I say the audience, they love, they're like, oh, I think that's so powerful that you say that. So what would you tell your 15-year-old self knowing all that you know now?
Oh my gosh, my 15-year-old self had no idea, the trials and tribulations that she would be going through. Literally, 20, I would say about 12 years later. Yep, 12 years later, she had no idea the root of what God had in store. So what would I tell my 15-year-old self? I believe I would share this with her, is to have courage, be bold. Whatever's happening to you in the future will be okay, and rest in God knowing that He's going to save you. He really is. Because in 15-year-olds, I feel, depending on your situation, because all of us are different, I had a lifestyle where my parents are laborers. My dad was a cop. My mom was a dietitian. So it's 3 girls. We, went to school, went to private school. So we had a really beautiful childhood. I mean, I had nothing really to worry about. I was in a great high school. I knew exactly the plan of life I wanted for myself. I was like, I'm going to be a CPA. I'm going to have my own company. All the women are going to be working, in my business are going to be CPAs. And, I'm not getting married till I'm 35 years old. I'm going to travel the world. So I had all of this planned out at 15.
Wow.
Well,
yeah.
Life God says that's not what I have for you.
Right.
So by the time I hit a little bit after college, I met my husband. And so we wound up getting married pretty quickly. He proposed in 3 months.
Oh,
and we got married. Yeah, he proposed in 3 months of us actually meeting each other. And we got married like a year and a half later. And that really showed me that I planned so much in my life, that your plans can definitely change at an instant, and you have to be ready. Ready. And I felt as a new bride that I really wasn't ready. There's so much to learn. But I thank God for my husband for really taking the time to educate me and his family to educate me and build me up too. So when I found out about the diagnosis, um, which was about how many years into our marriage? Probably our fifth or sixth year, something like that. Maybe the fifth.
Well, tell us what your diagnosis is.
Oh yeah, let me tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
So I got diagnosed with something called systemic lupus erythematosus. I know I don't say that correctly, but it's called SLE. And for those who don't know exactly what it is, you can definitely look it up on Google. But to give you a short story on what that is, it's when the body attacks itself and it compromises your immune system, and it usually attacks most, well, it depends on the person, but most people that are diagnosed with it, for some reason it attacks the kidneys. It attacks other parts of the body, but for some reason it likes the kidneys. Anyway, I got diagnosed with that probably in our fourth year of marriage, so we're still newlyweds, we're still getting to know each other and all the things. So that was really a curveball that no one expected. He didn't expect that. His parents didn't expect it. My parents, my family didn't expect that. And it took a toll on me because I remember in planning, when I told you I'm already planning this kind of life. I already got sidetracked because I was supposed to marry at 35 and I'm married at 24, right? So that's a big change.
Right. Right. Adjustments. You have to make those adjustments.
Exactly. Now the second adjustment is a physical one, which caused a mental adjustment because I didn't realize I started going into depression. I felt betrayed. I was in denial when I got the diagnosis. I was in total denial. So I was doing everything opposite the doctors were telling me to do because I just couldn't believe this was happening to me. And I'm sure there's folks in your audience that might have got news from a doctor that we don't want to hear.
Right.
Something like, oh, you got cancer, or the fact that your pressure's too high, I have to put you on medication. Or it could be, now you have RA, or RA stands for rheumatoid arthritis, or maybe you have a broken leg, or, now you have migraine headaches that we haven't figured out why you're getting them. So we can get anything in a doctor's office. It's how do we respond to it? Not react. There's a difference.
Not react. So give us how do we, you say not react but respond. So give us an example of reacting and give us an example of really responding.
Okay, so my reaction to this was, what? Am I dying now? That's my reaction. I said,
and that's
am I dying?
Yeah.
Am I dying from this? What's going on? I never heard of this word. What is it? Like, that's my reaction.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, responding to a situation like that is, to me, is taking the information the physician or the person who's talking to you and letting that sit, and then doing some homework on it, and then talking to God about it. That's responding to a situation. Because a lot of times in life we react. When you're driving your car and you have to stop short, that's a reaction because you don't want to hit the car in front of you. Okay? A different thing is when you see a car accident, whether you're in it or you see it, and you respond by either getting out and helping, the situation, or calling 911 to help, get assistance to that. That's responding, right? So I had to learn to respond to the situation over time. I can't say that I was so eloquent about it because, like I said, I was in denial, betrayal, and definitely depression. So I was reacting to my situation, and I kept saying, "Why me? Why me?" And I remember my husband one night saying, because I was crying uncontrollably and the snot coming out my nose and everything. He was like, "Why not you?
Wow.
You don't know what God has in store for you 5 days from now, 5 years from now, 25 years from now.
Right.
You have no idea why this is happening. So we have to pull it together and we have to work together to figure this out. And I ain't going nowhere." So,
wow.
we'll
and see, that's the power of marrying the right man. See, because I
Yeah.
think if you're and in your timing, because you said you got married at 24, and then a couple of years later you got the diagnosis. So imagine had you waited to that 35, you surrendered to God's plan and got married earlier, and you married your husband, and your husband was there to help you, not react but respond. But I think like reacting is a human thing. Like that's what we go to first. It's like
Yes.
our default setting. But when you renew your mind in Christ, and like I said, you have the community around you to help you get in that, get out of that negative mindset and get into a positive mindset. It helps you respond better, and then our body responds better to when we're calm in our minds and our heart, because our energy is going toward that healing versus reacting. Counteracting is kind of like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's good. That
exactly,
is so
exactly.
good.
That's true because reacting is a human emotion, right? And we
Yeah.
get into our feelings,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to
Mm-hmm.
learn to remove our feelings because that's the flesh, and God really wants us to walk in the Holy Spirit because the Holy Spirit will guide you and let
Yes,
you know
ma'am.
exactly what to do.
Yes,
When
ma'am.
we take the opportunity to really listen and obey. But a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, we in our feelings,
Yeah.
and then
Mm-hmm.
you're not able to really focus on what God is
Right.
like telling you to do
Mm-hmm.
next.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't doing that. So as a result of not doing that, okay, I already told you I'm in denial. I feel betrayed by the doctors, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely in some kind of form of depression. So what does your girl do? She eats herself uncontrollably. That's another reaction. I
Right.
ate myself so much, I was 100 pounds overweight in a few years. Yes. so,
Wow.
so that's my immediate thing I did.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to taking the medication they ask you to take, because they say this medicine is going to calm down the symptoms of the particular chronic
Mm-hmm.
disease. It's not solving the problem, but it's just calming the problem.
Symptoms. Yeah.
Right.
Masking.
It's masking it. So I'm walking
Mm-hmm.
around with a mask of
Right.
medication in my body, but I'm also walking around a mask on my face because with systemic lupus you get what's called a lupus rash. It's like
Oh,
this
really?
strawberry rash. Even though I'm dark skinned, you can
Mm-hmm.
see it. So I'm walking around life, my everyday going to work, all the things with this rash
Right.
across my face. So
Mm-hmm.
then as a woman, you're feeling
That's your
what?
confidence. Yes.
Yeah, you're feeling unsexy, you're feeling
Yes.
unattractive, you're feeling unmotivated. So why
Yeah.
not eat? Who's gonna really? So what?
Mm-hmm.
My husband. Yeah. So what? I'm just gonna eat, eat, eat. I don't care. It was all of this that kind of
Mm-hmm.
formed,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt myself like, meaning me, Terrell was kind of losing herself during this process because now you
Mm-hmm.
got just regular physician, but now you got specialists in your life. You have a kidney specialist. You have a rheumatologist who deals with the autoimmune condition. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I had all of these different doctors, and one medication that they had me on right away within the first couple of months is called prednisone, which is a steroid. And most steroids, I don't know, but I know this steroid, I gained weight in addition to the
Yeah.
other.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
my face, in addition to having the mask, was
It's
brown,
puffy. And now
was
it's
puffy.
puffy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're getting people making jokes.
Oh, really?
Yes. You get people making jokes. And, people talking behind your back. And then I get pregnant because I get off the medicine, the prednisone. Doctor said, well, if you want a family, you got to do it quickly, get pregnant. Had the baby. God blessed me with a beautiful baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
And that same year after having the baby, I wound up in surgery because the hip joint had deteriorated because of the prednisone that they gave me for like 9 months, but it was a very, very high dosage, and my body just caved in. So now I have a newborn. I have surgery the same
Oh,
year.
wow.
So I'm like, okay,
Wow.
I am really starting to go under here. I'm just not dealing
Oh,
with
my
this well.
goodness.
Yeah. So I have to, like I said, thank you for the community that I did have at the time because we were involved in a network marketing company at the time. and the people there really helped a lot, and his family helped a lot. So everybody did their part during that time, but I knew it was more on me to really have a sense of getting back to disciplining myself, getting back to having that determination and making decisions, because it really starts with a decision. Anything I
Hey,
feel
yes.
we do in life, especially with our health, we have to make the
Yeah.
decision. 'Cause there's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of times where you
I'm
don't
gonna make a decision to
feel like
live. To
you don't
live.
feel, yeah, will
Yeah.
to live, or feel like eating well, or feel like working out, or feel like going to the grocery store to get the right items in your house. You don't feel like doing it, but you have to do it in order for your health to be optimal, right? So I had to make that decision, and it wasn't easy because I kept spiraling. It's like, okay, now I got the baby. Now I have the hip. Now I got to go back to work. Now, it's like everything seemed like it was mounting on me. And I just kept eating. And then, and then I get pregnant again. So I get another kid, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
oh my gosh, what is going on? How can I
Right.
handle this? So had the second child, which is a boy. So I have the second one. I don't have as much of the prednisone at this time, but then they find out your hip is worse because now you had the second baby and the hip is worse. We have to go back in and give you a full hip because of the other kinds of medicine and the fact that I was eating so much, and I was just out there. I was just out there until my rheumatologist one day sat me down and he said, "Listen, Terrell, I'm going to tell you the truth. Nobody's going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth." And it's like in 2004. I remember like yesterday. I'm sitting in his office, right? I'm thinking I'm getting a routine checkup and everything, girl. He's like, "Yo, Terrell, you dying. I'm just going to put it out there. You are dying. With this lupus and you're overweight by 100 pounds or more, you are killing yourself. Your husband will get a new wife and your kids are going to get a new mom. So what you going to do?" He
Wow.
said, "What you going to do about it?" And I just cried. I just cried and cried to that man. I was like, "I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do." So he said, "You're going to have to do something." So he said, "You got to start eating right. You just got to do something." So
And
I found one
that
of
was
the
your
parents.
defining moment. That was your
Yeah, it
defining
was a
moment.
really defining moment for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the moment. 2004 in his
Mhm.
office. That was the moment when I was like,
Mhm.
I have to get this together. I can't have my husband having a new wife, and I can't have my kids having a new mom. I was like, oh no, we're not doing that. And
Yeah.
so I remember finding one of the parents in the school saying, can you help me out? I got to work out. I got to do something. And we want to go into the gym. And I remember going like 3 times a week consistently. I made sure I made time to go to the gym, and I lost like 50 pounds in like 18
Wow.
months. I
Really?
lost 50 pounds. Yep, I lost 50 pounds. And my rheumatologist, he was all excited. He's like, "This is great. This is what I'm talking about." And then he says, "Well, you still got 50 more to go." I was like, "Boy, you bursting my bubble."
Mhm. But you didn't need to get comfortable at that point. You know what I mean? Like you didn't need to get comfortable at
Yeah,
that
I
point. So
guess
that was
that's what
another
happened.
defining moment. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So he didn't want me to get
Wow.
comfortable. So what I learned
Right.
is that you have to keep going. You can't quit. It's so easy in life when things happen, whether it's something to you or something to a loved one, or you hear something on the news. But we really have to keep in God's grace that He gives and His mercy that He bestows upon us, to know He wants something more for us in this life to do. Because just when my husband told me, remember what he said to me? He said, "You don't know what God has in store for you 5 days from now, 5 years from now, 20,
Right.
25 years."
Right.
And as a result of all of that did occur, I wind up becoming an author in addition to a health coach, because the health coach came because as a result of my doctor, the rheumatologist was like, "You got 50 more pounds to go. I want you
Hmm.
to join Weight Watchers." So I went there begrudgingly, like kicking and screaming, because I didn't think it would
Hmm.
work, but it did. I wound up getting the rest of the weight off through them, and I wound up getting hired as a leader and a coach.
Okay.
So I worked for them for about 8 years and helped thousands of people lose weight, and I helped 3 people lose 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Each 3 different people lose 100 pounds themselves. So I
Mhm.
knew this was something to do. I said, Lord, is this something that I should be doing more instead of sticking in with the, accounting and finance? So
Mhm.
that's what he led me to. So that's where my life kind of started going, and it's into the health coaching. And I was thinking about it because my cousin kept saying, you need to write a book of all the stuff you dealt with. And I was like,
Right.
nobody's gonna read my book. She said, oh yes, they will. But I said,
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us. Well, before we get into the book, there was so much that I heard inside of your story. You didn't wait to fulfill your calling. You didn't wait to be seen. You didn't wait for somebody to give you a mic. You didn't wait for somebody to give you a pen. You didn't wait for nobody to do anything. You stood on your own faith and what was in your heart. So I want people to not realize, not skate past this moment that all that she went through. Because we talking about the cost to arise, the cost to be a leader, your cost of how you survive certain things, and these things led you to the call of duty that God had on your life. Everybody's call is different, but all of us have a call, and I feel like we have 3 calls. We'll get into that later, but I just hear a whole lot of determination. I hear a whole lot of not having. You had moments of where you felt sorry for yourself, but you didn't sit in those moments. You know what I mean? You didn't let those moments define you. You didn't allow your the disease. I like how you say disease in your body to keep you from answering the call. You know what I mean? And so it gonna cost y'all. So it gonna. We talked about it a lot. We on here the cost of rise talk show. It costs you some to be the woman that God gave you, called you to be. And who would have thought effective would have been the way that He used to call you? You know what I mean? Who would have thought? I don't
nobody,
think nobody think about that, right? But
nobody.
but you saying you being a survivor of lupus led you to the call of duty to empower women, educate women, and to advocate for their health. And I don't think a lot of women know that they can advocate for their health. And I feel like when you talked about how your doctor told you, y'all had a real conversation. The doctor was able to be real with you because he know that you were advocating for your health, and he knew that the person that was sitting in front of him wasn't the person that he has conversations with. So what do you think about that? Is that
Yeah, that doctor, and he's retired now, so I'm like kind of
Mhm.
sad about that. But he's
Mhm.
retired. He and I can honestly say that I used to joke with him so much because we were so
Mhm.
close. I said, "You're like my
Mhm.
second husband," because he would really tell me the truth. And
Right.
he's from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, so he knew.
Mhm.
And I believe as women, we have to advocate.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I was just having this
Say
conversation,
black women. Let's be general. Black women. We have to.
especially black women. We have to
Mhm.
advocate. Matter of fact, just this weekend, I have a group at my church called Crocheting Conversations. We love to
Mhm.
crochet and conversate.
Mhm.
And one of the women in our group was just talking about a doctor that she goes to, and this doctor keeps giving her medication when she doesn't feel she needs the medication, and she's not
Mhm.
listening to her. And I said, "Why don't you change your doctor?" She's like, "I
Right.
never done that." I said,
Mhm.
"Change your doctor. There are
Mhm.
doctors out there that will advocate and understand your pain." And maybe
Mhm.
the only thing she does know is to go by the book of what she's been taught in medical
Right.
school, but they don't have a
Right.
nutritional background. And
Mhm.
she's like, "Oh my gosh, I never thought about that, Terrell. I can change my doctor." I said, "We have to advocate for our health. There's
Right.
other ways for you to get healthy than her giving you that medication. And if the medication is giving you leg pain or giving you a headache, something's wrong.
Mhm.
It's not working."
Right.
She took she I don't know if she took offense when I said it because I was so like energetic about it. I was like, "You have to change your doctor. Stop
Right.
listening to her.
Yeah,
Stop."
you got to be passionate about it. You have to
Yeah.
be passionate and bold. God
Yes.
calls us to be bold. So when you getting somebody to really understand the depths of the moments they're in, so you have to have that like passion and that boldness behind you. You know, now I'm not trying to incite fear in you, but what I'm
No,
saying is you
exactly.
can do this. Like,
We can
yeah.
do this. And that's what I was sharing with her is that we can do this as Black women. And most of the time, let me tell you something, even for my diagnosis, it took them at least 9 months, 7 to 9 months to figure out what was going on. I went to at least 3 or 4 medical doctors who had no clue. They called me crazy. They said there were Swedes in the backyard. Did we have pets? They were asking all these kind of silly questions.
Yeah,
And
gaslighting.
yeah, and a dermatologist was the one that figured out what the cause was going on in my body, not a medical doctor, a dermatologist. So I was like, why aren't we getting the being seen and valued and heard in our community? I don't know why, but it's taken the medical doctors a long time. That's like the last thing they think about with regard to Black women, that it could be some kind of autoimmune condition. And a lot of us live in urban areas. A lot of us live where there are a lot of industrial places, you know, that has a lot of pollution and
Yeah.
maybe too much sun and, you know, things
Mhm.
that can affect someone that's dealing with a condition of a disease like systemic lupus or rheumatoid arthritis or multiple sclerosis, which
Mhm.
runs pretty high in a Black community.
Community.
So,
Mhm.
and I also feel it's the things that we're eating. So I'm up on this big thing with regard to health. What are you putting in your mouth? Because the things that we're putting in our mouth are not really helping us heal. We have to
Right.
find foods that are helping us heal. And that's when, after I worked with Weight Watchers and I really started working more on myself and left, that's when I really figured out, you know, I got this weight off and I said, there are certain foods that are going to work for us and there's certain foods that ain't going to work for us,
Right.
you
Mhm.
know? And
Mhm.
this fast food restaurants that are in most of the Black cities and Black communities are not working for us. It's killing us very, very quickly, and we don't realize it. Obesity is one of the top diseases. Cancer is another one. Heart disease is another one. Diabetes. I mean, you name it, we have it, and it shouldn't be like that. You know, that's why I'm so passionate in working and advocating and teaching and educating our women, especially our women in business, our women in the corporate space, because a lot of times they get a lot of
Yeah.
pressure. They're
Yeah.
kind of nervous about saying that they have a dis-ease, and they're
Mhm.
hiding and masking it, and it's getting more stressful, and they're not realizing their hair is falling out or they're gaining weight, or even their behavior might be different because
Yeah.
they're eating foods that are not really helping them heal. You know, maybe there's a sense of unforgiveness, maybe there's rejection, maybe there's rebellion, maybe
Yeah.
there's the
You
fact that you
listen.
voted or,
You
you know,
preaching.
yeah,
You preaching
yeah,
real good.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
real stuff. So,
Yeah, and
um,
I'm glad that you said it because I was waiting on it. Like, you know, like the food is a symptom of a deeper issue. Because I'm the type of person, like I said, the Cost of the Rise Talk Show, we go deep, we go into the unhidden truth, and the unhidden truth, like you said, rebellion, unforgiveness, rejection, abandonment, all these things. And so, even for me on my health journey, I have had a whole lot of stuff that I share here on the Cost of Rise Talk Show. And God told me, like, you ain't gonna get healed until you be truthful about what's the real issue, Tamara. You know, you dealing with unforgiveness, you dealing with bitterness. You know, you have a lot of anger and bitterness in you that you know you keep suppressing, but it has to come out. And so I feel like until you know, acknowledge like it's something wrong. You know, because a lot of people they just go on like, oh, it ran in the family. Oh, so and so died from this, or you know, whatever. It's like, well, so you just gonna take that. So you know, if that's what if that's is your if that's what you want, that's what you desire. You know what I'm saying? If you take it on as a part of you, your identity, then you will stay stuck. But when you again, I saw my mom, a strong-willed woman, go to work every day, all day. Her whole thing was about work. They fired her from the job. She didn't get her 401k. She didn't get a lot of stuff because they fired her for right before she was probably like about 4 or 5 months before she was supposed to retire. They fired her, so she didn't get a retirement. And when I tell you, it devastated her to the point where they call it dementia. She got diagnosed with dementia a couple months later, and then I saw this strong woman, nothing, no other illnesses. They about I'm talking about no hypertension, no nothing, not even headaches. Dementia, which is something of the mind, took this lady's body all the way down because she probably years of unforgiveness and stuff, but that right there just it pushed her over the edge. And that made me realize that I had to advocate for my health. I didn't know. Like, I feel like, when you go to the doctor, like you said, they say take X, Y, and Z or whatever, you don't question it. You just take it. You don't question the dose. You don't question, like, what are the side effects? Like, how long will I be on it? Is there other alternatives? We just take it and just say, well, so-and-so had high blood pressure. It run in the family. And everybody's sitting around, but we still eating fried chicken.
And mac and cheese. The cornbread, gravy, and buttered up biscuits up to the, you know what I'm saying? And the Crisco lard been fried in that fried chicken, child. We just killing ourselves.
Yes.
Yep.
But I thank you for writing your book. Now tell us about your book. Tell us where we can find it.
This is the book. It's called Embarrassed to Empowered, A Healing Lupus Story. And I don't know how long it took me to write it, but I really took it from all my journal writings because I'm a journal person. So I had journals since like 15 years old, maybe even earlier than that. So I took it a lot from there. And it's just really my story of what I really went through. It's very raw. So the feedback has been that, I cried, Terrell. I laughed with you. I cried. I couldn't believe you went through that, Terrell. Oh my gosh, you're so strong. But it's not about being strong. It's really about being determined and making decisions to keep that strength so that you can move past those moments, because I didn't want to sit there. And my mom was a go-getter too. She'd get up and go even if she was hurting. So I knew that I had to move past that. And I figured once I write this, it would give someone else some inspiration, but also action steps in here to start advocating and start really taking your body seriously. You only get one, okay? And when you don't treat and honor your body to God the way He likes for us to do it, we're going to have a shorter time on this earth. And there's so much we have to do. There's so many people in this cemetery that are so rich and talented and treasures, but they didn't use it on earth because they had a short amount of time here. And I don't know if it's due to not eating right or whatever decisions they made, but I know that if we can take the time to really dig deep into the roots of why we feel abandoned, why we're rejected, why we're rebellious, why we didn't forgive the person. What am I eating emotionally that's causing me to eat, or unemotionally? Maybe it's just stressed. Why am I stressed? Why am I stressed? Why am I burnt out? Why am I not moving forward, or why am I moving backwards? Whatever the situation is, but why am I putting that food in my mouth? Because why am I doing that? Is it because of tradition? Because my family is used to having ham hocks and fried chicken? I can break the generational curse. I do not have to eat like that.
But a lot of people don't want to step outside of the box. You know what I mean? I'm one of those ones. I'm going to listen. I've always, as a little girl, I'd be like, it's an elephant in this room, so we just going to act like it ain't in here. Like, I'm going to step outside the box. So even for me, when I moved to South Carolina from Alabama, like, God told me to come out among you because I couldn't heal in a place that broke me. So when I got here, Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff looked totally different. And I decided that I don't have to do it like everybody else do. I don't, like, y'all said we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ on one day. We give it one day. We go out and buy all these gifts and stuff. I told me and my kids, we had started going into the communities, feeding, the people in transit. I don't like to say the H word, but people in transit, we start doing stuff like that. We started giving. What the heart of God is. If we're gonna celebrate Him, let's celebrate Him in a way that don't edify us. You know what I mean? So me and my family, like, we had a mac and cheese and stuff, but I try to buy the highest quality. I try to do less dairy and stuff like that. So I want to keep some of the tradition, but we don't have to do it like the way everybody else done it. And so if you teach that generation, then it'll go both. They can say, well, hey, I don't think I really want to do that. I don't think I want to eat like that. But if you don't take the stance, you know what I mean, and say, listen, no, I can't do something different, So that's where I am now when it comes to my health and eating better. So, and health is wealth. Like you just mentioned, health is wealth. How you going to attain wealth and you don't have your health? You know what I mean? Because you got people that they work so hard for the money, they work so hard for the success, but then they get a diagnosis, and now like you can't even enjoy it, you know what I mean? And so it's all about understanding what you want and what God has called you to, you know what I mean? Because I hear a lot in your story about, you still was able to get success that you would have had as you if you had been in with a CP. You said CPN,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, but now it's impactful. You get into wealth. You got your health as wealth. You got you get your finances as wealth, but also you make an impact. You know what I mean? You giving people permission to take their health seriously. Not just people, but Black women, purpose-driven faith women need to know. Start here, ladies. Start at your health. Take care of you.
Yeah, you got to take care of you because, just picture yourself not in that in your life. Now you don't realize how many people are touched by you, how many people are
Right.
connected to you. And if
Mm-hmm.
you, just like that movie, The Wonderful Life, when he asked himself out, George Bailey, look at all the different people that he had touched
Mm-hmm.
in his life. So
Mm-hmm.
each person is here for a reason and for the time
Right.
that God has us here. Let's make the most
Mm-hmm.
of it. And it
Right.
starts with, I truly believe he says it all throughout his word. He wants us healthy and prosperous. And
Yeah.
prosperous, yes, can mean material wealth too, but it also can mean just the peace we have in our bodies, just the
Amen.
gentleness we have, the kindness for another
Mm-hmm.
person, really taking care of our neighbors. But if we are not healthy even to take care of ourselves, to take care of our neighbors, how are we going to help each other? How are we going to help our children? How are we going to help our
True.
grandchildren? You know
True.
what I'm saying? If
Mm-hmm.
you're not
Mm-hmm.
healthy,
Right.
and I read this article, which I've been telling everyone that want to hear me. I read this article. I forgot where I read it at, to be honest with you. But they said in 2050, 2050, which is what, 25 years from now, that anyone over 50 years old, there's going to be 1 in 10 person that has a chronic disease. That is not good at all. That is not good odds. And I said, if I have anything to do with it, I'm like, yo, 50 and over, no way. We're
But
not
see,
letting
there's
it
the
happen.
predictions. They saying, so we can change
We can
trajectory of
change
that.
that. We can change
Yes.
that. In
Yes.
25 years, we can change that. We start eating a lot differently. We start teaching our children to eat differently.
Right.
If it goes to the fact that I know the school systems and way they cook the foods is so, quote unquote, the standard, but that's not the standard. The standard American diet is not what we should be eating. Not at all.
They listen. One of my doctors told me they hadn't changed it since since like the 80s, and she said the studies were when they originally were studied, it was based off a middle-aged white man with a certain
Right.
deal. So you
Thank you.
telling everybody that
In
they
the
gotta
world.
eat like this white man. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. And that's not how we're made. We're not made like
Yeah.
that. And
Right.
women are different than men, of course. We know that. But
Mm-hmm.
there's certain vitamins and minerals we need in our foods, and we're not getting that when we eat a lot of
Right.
the junk foods. There's a lot of, when you read a label, and most people don't read the ingredients. The first 3 ingredients will tell you exactly what's in that food. When you start seeing ingredients you cannot
You can't
pronounce,
pronounce.
don't pick it up. Please don't pick it up. I mean, you
Yeah.
can make your own potato chips. You can make your own bread if you wanted to. I eat fresh bread. I like meaning fresh bread, meaning live foods. I like Ezekiel bread. It's very dense. I know
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't taste like Wonder Bread and all the rest of them, because Wonder Bread and the rest of them are made with chemicals. They stay on the shelf for how many years?
Shelf
You
life.
look
It
at
just
the
made shelf life.
expiration
Yeah.
date,
Mm-hmm.
the shelf life, because they put preservatives in there.
Right.
You get Ezekiel bread, you leave it out on the shelf, it's gonna
It
mold.
ain't gonna last. Yeah.
It's not gonna
Yeah.
last. I found that too many times, so we have to put it in the freezer. I wasted
Yeah.
my bread that way. But I'm just sharing
Yeah.
with that's just one thing. But we have to really start having our own gardens, learning how to plant food. Even if you have an apartment, you could have the little pots on the shelves and stuff like that. Learning to
Mhm.
plant our own food. My husband has a garden. We have kale, lettuce. I think butter bib lettuce. We have sugar peas, sugar snap peas or something. We have zucchini. We have tomatoes. Cucumbers. We have to start planting our own stuff
Mhm.
because first of all, that's giving back to the earth, right? Because you're giving soil and the sun and the water, and God's doing all that He has to do for it. But that's also giving you life in your body. That's healing the body, you know?
Yeah, because when you watching stuff grow, you grow. Because I had this plant, and it was a golden pothos. And when I got it, it was a small little piece. A lady gave it to me. And the Lord said to me one day, He was like, name your plant. And I was like, I'm trying to be all, just hiding my idea or whatever, just so, I don't know what I was trying to be, probably. And I was like, I'm going to name it Olivet, which is my grandmother who's passed. And he was like, no, think about it. And I was like, okay. So a couple days later, I was like, Tammara. But it wasn't me, it was the Holy Spirit. I said, Tammara. And he said, okay, every time you water this plant, every time this plant grows, and I need you to talk to it beautifully. You know what I mean? Like every day, give it care. And when I tell you, literally, I was on the journey of getting my health together, and me and this plant grew so strong and so gracious. It was so good. And I'm going to get back to that this year. I made a decision. So a lot of stuff you was saying, it was almost like the Holy Ghost was telling me, so you need to make a decision. You know what it is, why you can't get right. And when I think about it, there's no excuses. You know what I mean? It's just a moment of just taking action. But when I tell you that was in 2021, a lot of change happened after the end that led me. The changes were real, but also if you could do it before, you can do it again. You know what I mean? Like don't let those excuses and your realities. Don't let your real realities keep you from being the most prosperous that you ever been in your life. You saw it one time before. You know it's attainable. So, you need to reach for those goals again. So I'm like, you beat me up over here.
She said, I beat her up over there.
You beat me up with a lot that you're saying. You know what? When I tell you beat me up a lot that you're saying. So you guys, she has her book, and she has a YouTube channel where she shares a wealth of knowledge, and anything that she's saying to you that's resonating with you and it's beating you up to, follow her. All her links and everything will be in the description, because it's a time for God. He has a clarion call for His daughters to be in that grace of new leadership, new purpose, and new transformation. That transformation, it starts in you. Because I had this lady. I met this lady when I moved here. She's our resident coordinator, and all of a sudden she just said out of nowhere, and I knew it was the Holy Spirit. She said, "You can't help nobody until you help yourself." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And she recently said it again. We were having a conversation about nothing that was dealing with that. And she all of a sudden just looked at me with this blank stare. You can't help nobody until you help yourself. So I went back and I said, God, what are you saying? He was like, you know how the movie Harriet Tubman, when she would try to go. If you look at Harriet Tubman she came out first. She built her strength back up. She got the knowledge that she needs. She even got the finances that she needs so she can, go back and get people. But every time she went back and came back, she would take that rest, she would take that pause, and she would pour into herself. Then she would go back. So it was like one of those moments where God saying, you still can do the things I'm telling you to do, but until you become it, until you walking in it, till you be the epitome of it, you're not going to be able to help nobody else. You know what I mean? So I gotta get it together. My health, you know what I'm saying? Because my mental, my heart is there. I like in my academy, I teach like the wholeness of a woman. We don't just focus on her spiritual side, emotional, mental, financial, physically, her style, but for her health. My health is not at its best. It's not at its peak. Now, there are some things that I can't control, but they're eating. I can control exercise, moving. I can control that. So it's time for me to kick it up a notch. So you'll be seeing me tapped in.
She said, I'm going to be tapping in.
Tap in, Coach. I'm coming.
That's right. We're going to get you right, girl. We're going to get you right. We're going to get you right. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's one day at a time, because I even know for myself, because you can easily do. I just looked at this weekend. My husband retired from his job after 37 years, and we've been working together on reclaiming and restoring our bodies again, because we got away from it a little bit, and we're like, we both know what to do, right? So we invested in a plan, a program, a medical program for now, just to get us a little like shot in the arm type of thing.
Gotcha.
So we could be accountable, because when you both know it and you're both enabling each other, it doesn't work. Okay, we're married and we enabling each other. And what I mean by that, I'll go to the store and I'm shopping and I see some chocolate. I know he likes chocolate, right? So I go, oh, let me get him. It's on sale. 2 for $5. So I'll pick him 2. Why are you doing that, Terrell?
You just got one though. No, I believe in like, I believe in like somewhat of a balance. You know what I mean? But in moderation. I don't even not even say balance, but moderation. What do you think? Is that an enabler too? Because that might be a mindset I need to shift from.
Yeah, we had to shift that. I usually say this to my clients. There's no such thing as moderation, at least in the beginning. When you're resetting, you really have to get to the intentional goal that you want to receive for yourself. And once you get there and you kind of train the habit, it's a habit thing. Once you get into the better habits of the good habits of the healthier eating, whatever that is for you, then you can see if that is something you can do. I know for my lifetime, I will not ever be eating that cake called Cinnabon, because for me, it just triggered other sweets in my life. So I don't mess with that at all. I'll go to the mall and I'll walk right past it. I'll go.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
because
that I just will not.
Yeah, you don't touch. Okay, that makes sense. So, but tell them how sugar is like an addiction, just like any alcohol.
Oh, absolutely. If you go on my channel, my YouTube channel, or any social media that I'm pretty much on YouTube a lot, but I do have different videos that I talk about sugar. Sugar is sugar we do need in our lives. Okay, there's nothing wrong about sugar. We need the glucose to keep our bodies together. However, in America, we overdo it. And most Americans eat too much sugar. And when you eat too much sugar, it turns into fat.
The high processed sugars, like
processed
fructose, corn sugar,
like the high fructose, and there's 6 different names. If you need that, definitely reach out to me. I'll get you the list. But there's so many different sugars out there that don't really help you. So we have to really be conscious of that, because it's pretty much in everything. Sugar is probably in everything. If you eat too much of it, it can be very addicting. And I was one of those that I was very addicted to sugar. I even talk about that in my book, and how I had to really find ways to release it. And eat more protein and eat more vegetables and drink more water, and just do a lot of different things so I can cut myself from that. And that's why I said that particular place I would never, God's my witness. He keeps me in His will.
Right. Thank you, Lord.
That's just something I cannot ever go back to, because it's triggered.
And it's a don't touch this. Yeah.
You just don't touch it. You just can't.
And that came with trial and error, and it came with
trial and error. Most clients that most people that I work with will find something in their lives that this is the one thing that I know I cannot go back to.
I think it's that for me too. Like those are like, I don't do birthday cake and stuff like that. But one thing about, like you said, like that cinnamon, like that, or something like that, or some type of with like a lot of cinnamon and sugar and caramel or something like that. That's your girl weakness. And like you said, once I do that, it triggers, and I just become like the snack demon just takes over.
And a lot of the products that they have on the market, the companies are in business for a reason, right? They make money so that you're sick, so that the pharmaceutical companies can give you medications that the doctors are giving to you. And the pharmaceutical people come to the doctors, and they have a relationship with these doctors to put these medicines in people, because we're sick. We're a sick nation. I mean, physically, mentally, emotionally, unfortunately, spiritually, a lot of us. And we have to change that. A lot of other countries outside the United States do not operate that. I have been to Scotland, I've been to UK, I've been to France,
Wow.
I've been to Mexico. They don't
Wow.
do half of the
They don't
stuff
eat like that. Yeah.
in
And
Canada.
some of the foods are banned. Like some stuff is
All the
banned
stuff
there.
we got here is banned that they have,
Yeah.
we're eating it, but it's banned over there. So what are we doing? It's a capitalistic country here.
You,
And they
when it
will do
boils down to it.
anything in their power to get the dollar is the root. Not, I can't say that, forgive me. For certain companies, the greed is there. And when you have greed, you're not really thinking about the person.
The betterment of the people. No. It's
Right,
not.
exactly.
It's not even in the forefront. It's not even an issue. It's not even a
Not an
thing there.
issue. It's not an
Yeah.
issue. So we have to take up and advocate for ourselves to educate each other and one another to let them know this is not really good for you. Stick away
Right.
from these foods. Start eating healthy foods. And all the ones that are label healthy doesn't mean they're healthy.
I
Granola
learned
bar is the biggest
Lie.
culprit out there. Everybody thinks, oh, I'm gonna put a little granola on my yogurt. I'm gonna put a little granola in my cereal. No, it's not good for you.
No granola.
No granola. It's not.
Even the ones that like what they call organic.
She's trying. Are these are marketing terms they're using for you? Fat free, organic. The marketing. It's marketing. It's
Ain't
just
so organic. Ain't nothing so limits. So you finna see you finna you hit me again. Stop asking me, Mr. Terrell. So listen, and that's what I told my doctor too. I said because nothing is changing for I know for the last January, February, March, April, May, June. So we're in June. We're going into July. Well, tomorrow is July 1st. So I switched to grass-fed beef. I switched to I watch labels. If anything with inflammatory oils and stuff in it, I don't buy. We do gluten-free. Our bread is sourdough or either Ezekiel. So when it comes to organic, I'm missing the mark. When it comes it's Terrell.
not
What?
everything is what they say.
Miss Terrell.
What did I share earlier?
So you want me to go get a garden? So you saying go get my garden?
garden. Start doing that. Then you know there's no pesticides, no nothing in there. You know what I'm saying? Because you planted yourself. No,
What you over there eating? What you over there eating? What you over there eating? Y'all shipping?
Huh? Well,
Y'all
I don't eat
shipping?
chicken. We don't eat chicken. We don't eat chicken. That's another conversation we can have on another day. But
Yeah.
we eat a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, certain fruits, protein. My husband will have tofu because he eats more like almost like a vegan type of thing. I
Mhm.
eat turkey and fish. My fish is usually wild Alaskan fish.
Yeah. Mhm.
And what else? And turkey. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much what I do. Yep.
Wow.
And tuna. I'll eat tuna.
See, I don't eat that stuff. That's what because I had a lot of testing and stuff done. I eat according to my blood type, and for me, my blood type, I do have to have meats and whatever. So that's why I said switch
O
to
blood type. Yeah, O blood type.
you know, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm familiar with that.
And
That's what I talk
so
about here.
you do okay. See, people listen. When I say that, people be like, "I ain't never heard of it." So here's the thing: I tried vegan, I tried plant based, I tried everything, and my body was totally wreaking havoc. When I tell you, like when you talk about rash, if I showed you pictures of how my body, my face, and how I have whelps and how I have these rashes, my body was like, no, no, no. So what they, like you said, what we call healthy is not healthy for everybody.
Right.
But for me, now you got me thinking like, but like I said, I try to do a lot of protein. Even chickpeas, I can't do chickpeas. I'm like, and so I'll go back to the fish. So fish, I just cannot do salmon and sardines and stuff. But for my blood type and for less, like you said, pesticides and GMOs and stuff like that, that's where it's at. So I need some sauce. Can I have some type of sauce with it? Because I don't mind eating it, but I need some sauce.
Well, again, condiments infrequently. We're going back to the basics. My husband and I, using the oil, olive oil, real mustard. No ketchup, because tomatoes don't really work well for me either.
I don't do ketchup either.
Yeah, so
Tomatoes is bad for it's bad for us. Tomatoes, it's the skin on the tomatoes that make us. It's not for human consumption.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, if you're getting tomatoes in the grocery store, they probably have some kind of pesticides or some kind of stuff on it. So we just have to be really sensitive to our bodies, really know exactly your body, so that when you're eating certain foods, I like for my clients to keep food journals and emotionally say what's going on while you're eating this food, while you're taking away this food, that type of thing. So you can really see a pattern if there is one. And that's why you can really help yourself,
Right.
You can really help yourself that way. So
Yeah,
this has been fun.
Yeah, and I love food journaling. When I tell you, because that's how you know what don't work. What I can say. Well, and then one thing I learned too is I will eat the same thing, and it don't matter to me. Like for a week, I can eat the same thing because I know if I put something else in it, I can't tell what it was. But if I eat consistently the same thing, I'm not eating the same thing. Like I said, I can eat this viral bowl that's going around with the sweet potatoes, ground beef, and cottage cheese, and they drizzle a little honey on it and avocado. I can eat that all day, but I've been adding, instead of the cottage cheese, I've been adding zucchini and the sweet potato. It's like, yeah. So it's so good. It's so good. But yeah, it's been good, you guys. Y'all check the description for all of her links where you can buy this book, where you can go to her YouTube channel and get all the information. If you want to, God is calling you to advocate for your health in this season, and if she beats you up like she beat me up, okay, go ahead on and click the link, because y'all, I like to tell y'all how I got linked in with the ladies that come on to Costa Raz Talk Show. Dr. Vonnie, we and her record tomorrow. Tomorrow will be July 1st. Today is June 30th, 2025. So Dr. Vonnie did a pre-interview to come on to the show, and she invited me to her Saturday morning prayers. And when we got on, it was only three of us. The lady, episode 1, Miss Wanda, the admin, Dr. Vonnie, and Miss Terrell. When I tell y'all, like, God came in that room, it felt like I knew these ladies for long time. Like, I had been in that community for a long time. He was just sharing, like, everybody shared their expertise, and everybody was just talking. And God kept saying, "Yeah, her. She can come on." Like, it was, y'all. She's beautiful, but she was really illuminated, by what she was saying. And I feel like that the Coastal Rise women need to hear that, because we need to advocate for our health as we are doing what God has called us to do. We can't do this journey unless we're at our primal health, and also about knowledge and understanding that what you went through up until this point, don't let that define you. Take your power back, take your authority back by taking over your health. If health is an issue for you, you have the power. You can hear her story. She took Lupus, something that came to steal and kill and destroy her. She took it and she threw it back to the pits of hell. And now she's sharing her wealth of knowledge with women that purpose-driven women that want to get their health on track. And she's telling us, don't wait on nobody else to give you permission. Do it where you at. Take authority where you at. Because she said, her doctor told her, "Baby, you gonna die or you gonna live?" And she was like, "Live for $350, please. Sign me up." And she took authority over life. She didn't wait on nobody to come save her. She didn't wait. And I think a lot of times women, we wait on God and we pray, "God, come do this." But okay, well, what sacrifice are you gonna be willing to change, Tammara? Are you going to take what Ms. Terrell is saying today? Are you going to get on her live? Are you going to ask the question? Are you going? What steps are you going to take? So even for you ladies that's listening, what steps are you going to take? Like, what in your reflection time when you sit down with God, you say, "Hey, first of all, I acknowledge I need to get my health in order. I'm out of line. Let me repent, and God, put me on the right path." And sometimes you have been praying that prayer, and then you see Mr. Real pop up on your timeline, and you just keep scrolling, or either you listen and you don't take the tools and make them practical in your life. So how you gonna get the results? Like, I see a lot of people too. They think they want something until you tell them what they got to do to get it. You know what I mean? Even me as a style coach, they think they want something, but when you tell them what it actually going to cost them to do it, they don't want. A lot of them will walk away from it.
They don't want to make the sacrifice. You got to invest in yourself. Mm-hmm. There's a cost to everything. There's a cost to your health when you don't take action, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you go in the doctor, you pay for medication, and you don't need to pay for medication. You can invest yourself into a health coach or a functional medicine person, whatever, to help you, guide you, so that you won't be paying for medicine or even going to the doctor as often as you had, right? Or being in the hospital, right? Because you did not listen or take, the steps to get your health together. And
so, do you mentor women as well?
Yeah.
Is there something that you check the description, guys? Check the description.
Reach out to me.
Yeah, reach out to you guys. So, you guys, the God wanted me to tell us to break down the 3 callings. We've been on for a minute, but it's okay. We're gonna say what those says, Lord. So there's 3 callings when because people always just what do you? I'm gonna ask you first, Mr. Real. What do you think that because people just focus on my calling, my purpose, or whatever. Have you ever thought about it as more than one thing that God was calling us to, or you just what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts is that we have assignments that God calls us to, but then there's a bigger mission. I mean, the mission is in the New Testament for us to go out and be disciples, right? That's
talking about. That's what tomorrow episode is going to be about when we record. That's what we talk about tomorrow. The Great Commission.
The Great Commission is really but each of us in the body of Christ has something different to offer. So whatever your assignment is, I feel that's a calling. And over time, you will know when you ask the question. You have to ask him, what is my calling? What am I supposed to do? Let me know. And have a real conversation. But you got to have the relationship with the Lord first in order to do that. If you don't have the relationship with him,
Right. That's true, because a lot of us, we just assume. So that's what we doing. We uncover hidden truths over here. So, y'all, when I tell you, I feel like I'm in the war zone in Baghdad where I live now. It's it used to then be a main street, but now it's a main street because they're working on some roads so that everything is rerouted. When I tell you, I feel like I stay in a war zone. But you guys, there was 3 calls that God told me, and one is our primary call, and that call is to God. And so when we answer that call to God, that's through our salvation. We call us like, hey, do you believe Jesus Christ died and rose for your sin? That is your first call, and your primary call is the calling to God, and the second is the call to serve. So when He called us, He wants to serve. He wants to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. So that's serving. That's part of what we talk about when it's your call to rise. So your second call is the call to serve, and the next one is your vocation. So you merge all 3 of those. The God called you. So once you got saved, you got some work to do. It's time for you to start going out preaching, teaching to your brethren. That's the discipleship. So that's the call of salvation. That's your primary call is God, to serve God, to worship God. But if He done anything for you, then now you want to serve. Now you step into your servant role, and then you use whatever your vocation is, your business or whatever it is, and to tie all 3 of them. So how you can serve God in the earth. So that's what He shared with me, you guys. He said, taking into prayer and consideration of, like, if you're saying that, what is my purpose, what is my call, you're trying to figure it out. This is a moment where God is inviting you into a conversation with Him so that you can really know what that is and what season that you're in. Because some people may be in a season of just serving, so you have to be prepared to go out and use your vocation or your business or your assignment, to do whatever it is the Lord wants you to do. But when you hadn't allowed him to prepare your mind and your heart, then you just want to go into serving and you get burnt out. You know what I mean? You get in the point where you're frustrated and you don't know if I want to do this, because when it's assignment, you don't have the audacity to pick it up and put it down when you get ready. You know what I mean? So like, ask God where you are in your call. If he's just calling you some more of a relationship with him, is he calling you more into serving, just see how you developing that servant's heart, and do he want to use your business, do he want to use your pain, all for his purposes. So you guys, it's been a good conversation. Mr. Terrell, I want to give them lasting words or anything that's on your heart that you want to share.
My lasting word is everything that we talked about. Take an action step today. Take one action step, whether it's the fact that I'm going to go grocery shopping and buy something new for what to eat, or I'm going to move my body today. Take an action step. That's all we're asking you to do. That's my lasting word. Take an action step.
All right, you guys, this is the end of the Coastal Rise Talk Show. If you want to be a guest on the Coastal Rise Talk Show, male or female, y'all, I need to get some guys on. I want to hear y'all perspectives of what it costs you to arise in your calling, in your gifts, and your assignments. So check the description for that link so you can get a free interview. You can come on to the Coastal Rise Talk Show and share your journey with us. If you want to stay connected to Ms. Terrell, all of her information will be in the show notes and the description. And anything that we talked about, it'll be inside of the description, you guys. I need y'all to know, stay healthy, stay vigilant. Okay, Ms. Terrell told us it's one day at a time. Give yourself grace, flow in grace, but quit making excuses. Okay, this was your clarion call to quit making excuses. What's the name of the book? Tell us the name of the book again.
Embarrassed to Empowered: A Healing Lupus Story.
Okay, all right. Tell us, because I like that. I like for people to share their wealth of knowledge and their expertise. So, where did the title come from?
The Lord gave me that title.
Okay, all right. The Lord gave it to her, from embarrassed to empowered, you guys. So, all right, you guys, we'll stay healthy, stay busy, and we'll see you next time. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to join Boss Lifestyles Academy. That's my Patreon community where you get exclusive content and you'll be able to see the Cause to Arise Talk Show earlier, and any my vlog content, any speaking engagements, anything that I got going on, exclusive content only on Patreon. There is a free tier, so go ahead on and join today. And if you need some help with your leadership development, your personal style, or camera confidence, anything, wardrobe planning, anything, girl, I'm your girl. Click the link there's a link on the screen, girl. Follow the link on the screen or either click the link in the description. I'll see you inside of Boss Lifestyles Academy.